This week on ANN, the Adventist Church helps after fires devastate parts of Australia.
The Adventist Church in Colorado speaks out after police stop a planned attack on a Jewish synagogue.
And Advent Health in the U.S. state of Florida responds to the opioid epidemic.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, Seventh-day Adventist schools, churches, campgrounds, and family homes in New South Wales and Queensland continue to be under threat as devastating bushfires spread across these regions.
There are now 72 fires, 36 of which are uncontained, currently burning in New South Wales alone. 3 people have been reported dead, 5 missing, and 40 injured, as well as 150 homes destroyed and hundreds of thousands of acres of bushland lost.
To address the widespread devastation, multiple Adventist churches in northern New South Wales have opened their doors to the community.
Dorrigo Church is currently accommodating 50 people and Forster Church 19 people. Other Adventist churches are offering food and water to displaced residents.
Gyra and Inverell churches are also aiding their community while pulling resources from their local ADRA Op Shop and God's Closet ministry to provide clothing and other household items to locals.
2 other Adventist entities, Stewart's Point Convention Center, which faces its own bushfire threat, and Watson Park Campgrounds, have partnered with police and local councils to be on standby as registered evacuation centers.
Adventist schools in fire-affected communities are on high alert. On Friday, Manning Adventist School was evacuated as a precaution, and Monday, Kempsey Adventist School encouraged families to keep their children at home if possible due to low-lying smoke.
Despite more than 100 fires currently burning across New South Wales and Queensland, North New South Wales Conference President Adrian Raethel reports that no known severe damage has occurred to church members or property at this stage.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, in Australia is partnering with local churches across the country to provide assistance to families in need.
While northern New South Wales has been worse affected by the fires, the news media is currently warning Sydney residents to brace for unprecedented conditions tomorrow as the fire warning reaches catastrophic for the first time in history.
Greater Sydney ADRA Director Malcolm Ray is updating local pastors and church leaders and urging Sydney-siders to be alert and stay safe.
For more information about the fires and how you can help, visit adra.org.au.
Joining the community of Pueblo in the U.S. state of Colorado, Seventh-day Adventists issued a statement regarding the planned bombing of Temple Emmanuel, the Jewish synagogue in Pueblo. The statement was delivered to the synagogue leadership on November 8. At sunset, a dozen Adventist church members and leaders attended the Shabbat Eve service in solidarity with the Jewish community. Rabbi Bertie Becker led out during this gathering of the largest congregation in Pueblo since Temple Emmanuel's opening in 1900. The synagogue, which accommodates 180 people, has standing room only with many of the supporters standing in the foyer and outside. Pastor of the Pueblo First Seventh-day Adventist Church, Anton Capusi, said, "We stand in solidarity with you and the city of Pueblo in condemning the attempt to take lives and cause a deep wound in the fabric of our city. Federal authorities in Colorado have arrested a man who is being accused of plotting to blow up Temple Emmanuel, the second oldest synagogue in Colorado. The suspected bomber used several Facebook accounts to promote violence and show support for the Holocaust, writing in a private message in July that he was getting ready to cut people," federal documents said. He is in custody and charged with a hate crime. The Adventist statement expressed rejection of hate and planned violence toward the Jewish community and was addressed to the rabbi of the Temple Emmanuel and its members. "We, at the Pueblo First Seventh-day Adventist Church, a part of the Rocky Mountain Conference in Colorado, Wyoming, and northern New Mexico, are deeply disturbed by the hate and planned violence this week on our fellow brothers and sisters in Pueblo's Jewish community here in Colorado." The statement continued that, as Christians and followers of Jesus, we stand with him in condemning white supremacist groups that spread racism, violence, and fear. We pray that divine protection and peace would abide in you all, your homes, and your synagogues, and we pray for the day when all of God's children of all races would treat each other with love and respect, rejecting bias and hate.
Advent Health, the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Seminole County Emergency Medical Services and Fire Rescue, along with the Board of County Commissioners in U.S. state of Florida, are launching a unique partnership to combat the opioid epidemic. A key element of the partnership is a new addictions recovery center that will provide clinically supported residential substance abuse treatments when it opens in early 2020. It is the first time that a healthcare system and law enforcement are coming together to open such a facility in Florida. When fully operational, the Addictions Recovery Center will house up to 40 men and 10 women and will provide up to 30 days of overnight care. In addition to mental health and medication-assisted treatment, patients will be supported with services that address their educational, vocational, behavioral, and housing needs upon discharge. Clients could be referred directly from Advent Health, the jail, or from the community. Conditions in Central Florida reflect the opioid crisis that has spread across the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 47,000 deaths involving opioids were reported in 2017, a 45% increase from 2016. At Advent Health Altamonte Springs, Florida, clinicians treated more than 100 substance abuse patients in September alone. Across the Advent Health system in the Tri-County area, clinicians see about 17 opioid abuse patients each day, up from 14 per day as recently as 2018. Additionally, the Sheriff's Office is giving opioid abuse training and education to emergency room staff at Advent Health Altamonte Springs. As a result of that specialty training, first responders will bring opioid abuse patients to the hospital for care, if appropriate, so that they can access these additional services.
Dexter Emoto, a post-anesthesia care unit and recovery room nurse at Loma Linda University Health, has been inducted into the National Fresenius Kabi Donation Hall of Fame for his blood donations. Emoto started donating his blood 45 years ago while he was attending Pacific Union College in California's Napa Valley. Emoto has donated more than 113 gallons, making him one of the highest blood donors in the western United States. That blood has helped nearly 1,500 individuals, estimates Livestream. Representatives from Fresenius Kabi, an organization that specializes in life-saving medicines and technologies, inducted Emoto into its National Donation Hall of Fame Wednesday for his contribution. Since graduating from nursing school in 1977, Emoto has worked as a nurse with Loma Linda University Health. Emoto says, "People who give blood do so because they have a passion for helping people. These donations could save someone's friend or family member."
The world recognizes November 20 as Universal Children's Day. This year is extra special as it marks 30 years of the Convention on the Rights of the Child.
In light of this, we wanted to remind our viewers about the campaign, Every Child Everywhere, in School. A child who is educated is transformed and given better opportunities to live outside of poverty and conflict.
The campaign is an urgent call to leaders around the world that all children, regardless of race, age, nationality, gender, religion, or origin, have a right to earn and complete an education, and that being in school is a recognition of the value and potential of each individual child.
The campaign aims to collect 1 million signatures by 2020 through the grassroots efforts in collaboration with the Adventist World Church.
ADRA aims to petition world leaders to take action for children to receive a quality education and live free from exploitation and the shackles of intergenerational poverty.
To sign the petition and to get more resources, please visit adra.org/inschool.
Statistics said that we have almost more than 1 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon, and 60% of this number are women and children. They like school a lot. They like to come here. They like to learn. For example, most of them, when you ask them what you want to do later on in your life, they have good ideas for the future. They don't think as before, I don't know, I will work, whatever. No, most of our children, they have purpose now for their lives. They know if they study more, they could get more in life, they could be more successful in life.
They really like it because we do everything we can to make it a happy place. Because here they're just studying and enjoying being students. They're not refugees. What's sad is that the kids are not just suffering because it's war. They're suffering because they are not treated like children. So people talk in front of them as if the kids do not understand. They mention problems, the death of someone, an explosion. And the child listens and understands and brings this to the learning center. And we have to live with it and teach him or her how to react to that piece of news. When they're older, they will know that at least during a big part of the day, they were considered children.
Education is the movement from darkness to light, and we would like to be part of this light to give a hope and future for the children. It is not only education, but we are creating an environment for the children to be loved, to be loving the education, and to feel that they are a very important part of the society.
Coming up, Adventist communicators are trained in Kenya.
But up next, women in Inter-America help educate their community during Breast Cancer Awareness Day.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
Thousands of Seventh-day Adventists across North Colombia recently joined efforts to highlight breast cancer awareness during a special campaign coined Tocata para que no te toque, or Find It Before It Gets You.
Women's ministry leaders and church members distributed 15,000 special edition magazines on October 19, published this year as part of Women's Ministry's initiative across the Inter-American Division this year to empower women to reach other women.
According to the World Health Organization, breast cancer is the most frequent cancer among women, impacting 2.1 million women each year, and also causes the greatest number of cancer-related deaths among women. There are 7,000 diagnosed cases of breast cancer in Colombia every year, and 2,500 die from the disease each year.
Throughout city streets, healthy food demonstrations, practical exercises to prevent disease, spiritual and psychological counseling, walkathons, special marches, exchanges of flowers for cigarettes, and other activities took place.
Many community leaders thank the church for assisting others in looking for a solution to this pressing problem, church leaders said.
In addition, many Adventist churches took part in breast cancer awareness for thousands in the community with health expos, free medical checkups, and talks on how to prevent and detect breast cancer.
In Barranquilla, a nearby city in the Atlantic region, Public Health Secretary Claudia Peña praised the work of women of the church. It is a work that must be exalted in this ministry, and it must be replicated not only in the churches, but in the entire community as well.
In the meantime, Adventist Church President for the North Columbia Union Conference, Edgar Redondo, said that women's ministries leaders across North Colombia are committed to continuing breast cancer awareness activities.
In the west part of El Salvador, hundreds of women gathered together at public parks, and plazas to pray before setting out to distribute 2,000 free magazines to onlookers and patients at hospitals. They visited dozens of patients in the maternity ward and pediatric wings, providing the free magazine and hygiene kits for them.
In the Dominican Republic on October 26, dozens of women distributed the magazines to drivers and onlookers on the streets of Santo Domingo.
Adventist Communication Training, or ACT, is an initiative of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church's Communication Department to train local church communication directors.
Recently, the team went to the East Central African Division and held a training in Nairobi, Kenya.
Williams Costa, Director of Communications for the Seventh-day Adventist World Church, sent this report.
Hoje eu estou aqui no Quênia, na cidade de Nairobi, junto com um guerreiro Maasai. E nós estamos daqui trazendo para você notícias internacionais. E hoje, de uma maneira especial, nós vamos falar sobre o ACT, Adventist Communication Training, que aconteceu na sede da região leste da África, com representantes de vários países. Só que essa matéria vai ser apresentada para vocês pelo pastor Jonathan Conceição.
Here in East Central Africa Division, you have around 130 communication directors. They are participating of the ACT, Adventist Communication Training.
Over 100 leaders from the 11 countries that form the East Central Africa Division of Seventh-day Adventists attended ACT, Adventist Communication Training in Nairobi, Kenya on the 22nd to the 24th of September 2019. Representatives included communication directors, church officers, and local church leaders. In his keynote address, Pastor Glacius Riguri, the ECD president, urged participants to be competent custodians of church reputation and meticulous planners able to stand firm when crises arise.
We, communication department, can work together with other departments in order to accomplish the work of the church, to spread the gospel as our main goal as an Adventist church.
Others were satisfied with the materials and promised to explore them and share with their local churches. The intensive training during ACT ECD primarily inspired communication leaders to share the good news of salvation more efficiently, preparing a unique experience for each of them to improve their communication skills by using a variety of methods of communication. It also emphasized their important role as the media personnel, spokespeople, crisis managers, news curators, and bridge builders toward the greater mission of bringing more people into the fold, as John 10 verse 16 instructs us to do.
Coming up, Victoria Turrentine is here with this week's social media highlights.
But up next, Adventist Mission has a story of how a Congolese church empowers young people to be leaders.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Gotta put a little weight on it. But I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
What is a lamb shelter? A safe place for lambs to grow strong and healthy.
Children are called lambs, and in the Congo, they have their own shelter to worship on Sabbath.
Adventist Mission has more.
What's the purpose of a lamb shelter? It's a safe place for lambs to grow strong and healthy. In this Congolese church, children are called lambs and have their own lamb shelter, where they can worship together on Sabbath. Here they are empowered to be young leaders. Mizbah is the pastor's son. He was 9 years old when he and his friends began worshiping in this lamb shelter. Having a place of their own gives the children ownership of the Sabbath school and worship service. Like his father, Mizpah happily leads on Sabbath mornings. These children are so grateful for the gift they received in 2013, when a portion of the 13th Sabbath offering was used to build several lamb shelters in Kinshasa. With this new building, this young group has grown and welcomes new faces all the time. Next door, membership in the main church has also seen growth. Mizpah's father is the head pastor. He welcomes guests and members to church this Sabbath. This church offers an interpreter for the deaf. Thomas gladly uses sign language to share the message during Sabbath school and the sermon. He wants to make sure there are no barriers to knowing Jesus and being part of their Adventist community. Through song and study, they celebrate their blessings and pray for the mission challenges of the city of Kinshasa. This large city is the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Adventist churches are scattered throughout. Before the lamb shelter was built, children could only meet outside under a tree or in the entranceway of the church. These areas didn't provide much protection from the hot sun or heavy rain. So when Adventist members in Kinshasa learned of the 13th Sabbath Offering Project, they were so excited.
I'm very happy to see that the World Church is going to give us a support so that we can realize this project.
Thanks to your generous giving to the offering, the project was completed, and the children now have a dedicated space to worship. Please pray for this mission work in this city. With more than 11 million people, there is a great need for Jesus in such a vast urban area. Adventists in Kinshasa thank you for your contribution to the 13th Sabbath offering and look forward to Jesus' soon return.
God bless them. This is my wish. I think that one day we will meet together in the kingdom of our Father.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org. Then click on videos at the top.
Did you know there are 5 types of people who use social media?
Victoria Turrentine is here to share who they are and how you can reach them.
There are 3.5 billion social media users worldwide, each person with their own interests, desires, and personalities. Some people use social media to connect, share, troll, and just to see what others are doing. Here are the top 5 users on Facebook today. 1. The listener. This person is an active social media user and enjoys the posts that appear on their newsfeed. However, they will hardly comment or ever like your post. To reach this person, you will need to talk to them face-to-face or over the phone to get a response. 2. The activist or influencer. This person is compassionate for change and wants their voice to be heard. This person also knows the power of social media and knows how to use their difference to make a difference. To reach this person, they want followers to share their posts, get engaged, and take action to make change. 3. The spammer. It is safe to say that not everyone on Facebook is your friend. The spammer will send you messages just because they are your friends or you are following their page. To stop the spamming, you should unfollow and disconnect with that person and page. 4. The troll. This person is the one who is always casting a negative vibe and commenting unpleasantly. You should ignore their comments or block this person overall to avoid any conflict. And last but not least, number 5, the social butterfly. This person is the one who is always posting pictures and being tagged in everything. You want to know how popular this person is? You should check out their social media channels. Now that I have shared with you the social media user types, which type are you? In what ways do you use social media to reach the world? Try to find the best way to reach people in your community using your passion and social skills to share your experience with Christ with others. Stay blessed and stay safe.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week, the Voice of Prophecy starts broadcasting in China.
Welcome to This Week in Seventh-day Adventist History. On November 10, 1946, the Voice of Prophecy began broadcasting in China from a radio station in Shanghai. This was part of an expansion of the Voice of Prophecy radio ministry beyond North America that had been agreed at the 1946 General Conference session. Within 12 months, the Voice of Prophecy was being broadcast on 12 other stations right across China. Furthermore, the Signs Bible Correspondence School, operated in conjunction with the radio broadcasts, enrolled about 12,000 students in its first year of operation. In 1950, following a temporary interruption caused by the communist victory in the Civil War in China, the Voice of Prophecy again went on the air in that country. For nearly the next 40 years, radio broadcasts were perhaps the chief way of communicating the third angel's message into the People's Republic of China. On November 14 to 17, 1901, at Los Tascas, a small town in Santa Fe province in northern Argentina, a general meeting was held of 3 small churches, which between them had a total of 55 members. Yet that small number included Argentinian, Brazilian, Belgian, French, German, Italian, and Swiss nationals. Pioneer missionaries from America traveled 5 days in order to be present. Pastor Joseph Westphal, Pastor Nelson Town, and his wife Stella. At this time, there were only 416 church members in 14 local churches in the whole country of Argentina. So this northern cluster of congregations was a significant part of what was then the Argentine mission. Westphal wrote approvingly, "The hearts of all these brethren and sisters are deeply attached to the work of God." And that attachment to the work of God eventually bore rich fruit. Today, the North Argentine Conference, just one conference in the Argentine Union, has more than 250 congregations with a membership totaling more than 25,000. That was This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details. And feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9.
The passage says, "I will put this third through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined and test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people, and they will say, the Lord is our God."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.